Colin in Warrington.
Morning, Alan.
Oh, yeah, what are we doing for you?
These air marshals.
Oh, yes.
You're winding everybody up, you are.
Never.
Yeah.
I've never done that in my life. My lawyers will be on to you immediately.
No, they won't.
That's right, they don't talk to me. Too busy defending. Go on.
This air marshal...
Yeah.
When he sat on the plane...
Sat on the plane?
Yeah. And something happens where there's a hijacker or something.
Yeah.
Right. What speed is the aircraft travelling at?
I don't know, 600?
600 mile an hour, right?
Yeah.
So, what speed is the air marshal's gun travelling at?
I've no idea.
600 mile an hour.
Yeah.
And what speed is the bullet that's not yet fired travelling at?
600 mile an hour.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, what are you on about?
A bullet can't do more than that. It doesn't know it's doing 600 mile an hour. As soon as it gets out the gun, it's I've had enough of this. You know how fast I'm going.
Well, if it's a low velocity bullet,
yeah.
I mean, we don't know what speed a low velocity bullet travels at.
Much slower than an ordinary one, I'd go for.
Well,
how does it know, by the way?
Pardon?
How does it know?
It doesn't.
How does it know it's a low... I'm one of the low velocity ones. I'll just hang about a bit.
It probably has a lesser charge.
A lesser charge? What, the cheaper?
I wouldn't say cheaper, but it's probably got a lesser charge.
Oh, I see what you mean, that kind of
enable it to travel slower.
Oh, right. So when it comes out the gun, it comes out slower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if the aircraft is travelling at 600 mile an hour,
yeah,
and a normal bullet would say travel at 1,000 mile an hour,
yeah,
the low velocity might only travel at 800 mile an hour.
So that bullet's doing 1600 mile an hour.
Correct.
And what about when it hits the plane?
It's travelling at 600 mile an hour.
Yeah. Oh, it's face.
So what's the problem?
I don't know what the problem is. I only asked the questions.
Oh, right. You're just winding everybody up.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, I think what you were trying to say is, if the plane's travelling at 600 mile an hour, and he finds this low velocity bullet, it won't get to the other end of the plane.
Well, it was. It's doing 600 mile an hour. It never catch up.
No, it's not.
Why not?
Because it's now travelling at 1,200 mile an hour.
Bullets don't go at 1,200 mile an hour.
Well, this one will.
Why?
Well, the plane's already travelling at 600 mile an hour.
So when you're in your car and you see them going around New York and the fire, the bullets for the guy in the back car, are doing whatever a bullet does plus 70.
The speed of the vehicle.
Yeah,
correct.
And the car at the front is doing 75. Well, no, he'll be doing 69.
Yeah.
Which is hard in a car. He'll be doing 69, right? Jerry Reese will love me for this. 69.
Yeah.
And he'll be firing backwards. Towards that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his will be going at the speed of the car minus 69.
No.
Why not?
Yes, it will. The bullet will.
Yes, it will. It'll be going dead slow.
The bullet will.
The bullet will.
It will reach the car it's following at the same time as it would if the two vehicles were stationary.
Except for the 1 mile per hour, because they're doing different speeds.
Correct.
Might as well be right if we're being picky.
If you're being pedantic.
Pedantic. All right. That's the other word for pedantic.
All right. So you with it?
Can you answer the helicopter one as well?
What's the helicopter one?
Oh, that's a good one, that. I love asking this. I always have fun with this. The helicopter one is, if you're... Oh, George can. Oh, hang on. We'll let George answer it.
Go on, then.
Yeah? All right. Well, George will be on in a minute. Okay.
Right.
So there you go. Faster than a speeding bullet. You're gone. Cheers, Colin.
Cheers,
And Warrington, lads. Ian, who's he? It can't be the only one who remembers his physics lessons, says Andrew. He's got the same answer. I knew this all along. Of course I did. Let's say, says Andrew, that a bullet fired from a gun travels at 400 miles an hour. Okay, we've said that. If the gun's on a plane moving at 600 miles an hour, the bullet still travels at 400 miles per hour relative to the gun. You see, you can kill your relatives on planes, that's okay. But now, at 1,000 miles per hour relative to the ground. Yeah. But that doesn't work, because the ground's moving as well, isn't it? 24 hours a day. Oh, which brings us to the helicopter question. And I'm told that George knows the answer to that one. Hiya, George.
Good morning. Yeah, the character has just been on. He was correct in what he was saying. And let's go back to where he's firing it from the car, from the back, pursuing.
Yeah.
Don't forget that it's the closing speed that the car now following is also going at the speed to counteract the return bullet. But back to the helicopter question.
Please do, yeah.
Right, as you quite rightly said, the Earth is rotating through space, right?
Yeah.
Through 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Now, at the equator, the speed of the Earth is 1,000 miles an hour, approximately. And at these latitudes, 60 north, is about 500 miles an hour. So when the helicopter lifts off the ground, it's also imparted with the speed that the latitude is at and moves with the Earth. So therefore, as it goes straight up, it's now moving through space at either 1,000 miles an hour at the equator or 500 miles an hour at the 50 or 60 degree latitude. So therefore, it comes down in the same spot.
Marvellous. Marvellous.
Right?
Yeah, I can't vouchsafe right, but I'll go with it.
Oh, yes, it is.
Well, you may say
Yes,
so.
it is.
I'm not doubting it.
That is why, if you take off from London at, say, breakfast time, 8 o'clock, and land in New York 5 hours later,
Yeah.
it's rotated that speed, and you have breakfast in New York at 8 o'clock again.
Well, there's a friend of mine doing that very shortly.
That's correct.
Mind you,
I've done it so many years and then having
it does like his breakfast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does that show your point?
Oh, indeed, it's all to do with Albert Einstein. Good old Albert.
It was basic physics.
Relativity. I know. Good on you. Thank you very much. I've had fun. Cheers, George. And it is Paul that eventually said, Paul in Tameside says, Albert Einstein will be turning in his grave. Yeah, but he'll be doing it at about 700 mile an hour. It's all to do with relativity, dear boy. Thank you very much, kind sir. Of course, David is, David's got all sorts of mixed up here. It's very confusing. He says, David says, who says the air marshal sits on the inside? Yeah. Because in Gotham City, there, you get people sitting on the outside. They have a bloke who wears his trousers over his tights, which he seems to have mixed a few metaphors there, and he just looks into the plane from the outside. But that's not true, you see, because that doesn't happen in Gotham City. No. I've forgotten where that happens, but that's Superman, isn't it? Batman, he used to have string. He used to dangle and swing off string, did Batman. Yeah, he couldn't fly. Batman couldn't fly. Can't fly. Superman flies. Yeah. Oh, he can leap from tall buildings, and he's got his Batmobile and all of that. But what he can't do is fly. That's your Superman. And that's not Gotham City, I forgot what... Metropolis, isn't it? Metropolis. And while we're on the subject of Batman, how did they summon Batman on a cloudless night? How did they... Because they used to squirt, didn't they? They used to squirt that light up with a big Batman crest on the beam. But what was it on? What was it reflected on if it was a cloudless night? So Batman, for all his cloak and dagger, could only work in the rain. So, I mean, they never tell you this in the books, but Batman did beggar all in the summer. He was unemployed. He was signing on during the summer, Batman. He was, because no one knew. He said, they don't want us tonight, Robin. What should we do? And Robin said, I'm not doing that again. I don't care what you say. I've done that once, and it tasted horrid. No, I'm not going for a drink. No. You see, so that's what happened. So how did Batman get summoned? Yeah. You see, it's all confusing. He had what? Hang on. He had a red telephone. Batman was in black and white. How can you know he had a red telephone? He had a red telephone in a bowl. Oh, I've got an headache now. I'll have to have a lie down.